That. Wow. Oh, excellent pose. You've got to do my pose. Do that. Right, Shaz. So you see that dot? So we're going to have to sew that. So this is the wrong side of the fabric. We're going to put those two notches together, but we're going to take note of the angle that the dart is going at and where it finishes. Okay, so if I put that there, so it finishes there. So I'm actually going to start at the end of the dart and head towards the notches. So I'm going to show you the first one, and then you're going to do the second one. Is that all right? Mm-hmm. Okay. So when you start, you're just going to pick up just hardly any fabric. And you're going to go backwards and forwards. You're picking up hardly any fabric, and you're going to gradually get bigger, working your way towards those notches and go backwards and forwards at the end. Do you think you can do that?
I'll have a go.
So this is you, Shaz, yeah? So
okay.
You're lining up the end of it. Mm-hmm. Lining up there. You're going to start at the end, and you hardly grab anything first of all, because we like our darts to go off into nothing. Mm-hmm. Okay, put the needle in. Okay, and then go forwards and backwards to close off the seams. Very good. Okay, now look where you're going. Get together where you're going. Mm-hmm. Right. And then backwards and forwards at the end. Not that much. Mm-hmm. That's fine. Brilliant.
Oh, yeah, look what I've done.
That's all right. Just jiggle the wheel. Now I always say to people, if they make any little mistakes, particularly with their first projects, don't worry about it.
I made a little mistake.
Because it's your mistake.
My mistake.
And it's your work, you know, it's still fine. Now whenever we press darts, there is a kind of rule. I don't stick to all the rules, but I stick to this rule because it does look a bit better. And that is to press your darts away. You press them away to the side seam. So we'll do that now with the iron. So look, it just gives a really good shape up here. Now when you wash this fabric, Shaz, because it's kind of starched, the African fabric, it will really, really soften up. So remember the back is in two pieces, isn't it? Because we're going to put a zip in it. But it's still the same thing. You've got to stitch up that dart. So this is the wrong side of the fabric. We've drawn out our dart shape. Shaz is going to fold this, line it up with her notches, and she's going to sew from nothing backwards and forwards on the fabric, coming into the notch. And you'll do that on the other side as well. So Shaz has done these beautifully, but now we need to press them. Shall I press them for you, Shaz?
Yes, please.
Because irons are hot.
I know, and I'm very young.
Do you know how long Shaz has been sewing? She hasn't been sewing for 330 years like me.
Like Teresa, that's right. I've been sewing for 2 years, and I'm wearing, everything I'm wearing today, I actually made. So I made these beautiful pearly king and queen leggings.
And how did you know how to make those, Shaz?
Because I watch Stitchless TV.
And which video?
The one to do with leggings.
The high-waisted, to make high-waisted American apparel style leggings.
The squidgy one where she's pulling the plastic stuff out. Anyway, and then I made this top, which is the vintage scarf top.
But you've added a little thing at the end, haven't you?
Oh yes, I've got this kind of bubble thing going on so that it hides my little tummy. So I'm a stitchless protege, I suppose.
So now we're going to do the side seams. So you need to put your fabric right sides together, making sure you have actually got the side seam. Now this is quite a long way to go without any pins. So can you remember what we do, Shaz?
We make notches.
We make notches. So I think maybe 2 notches is fine. So if you get me the scissors, and I think you just need a notch here, like that, and then another one about there. Is that all right? Mm-hmm. And then you start at the top with a centimetre seam allowance, go backwards and forwards, following the line down, and then backwards and forwards at the end. So if you line up your notches, very good. Great, she's a real pro. She did a brilliant job on that, but now you've got to do zigzag, which is F on our mini JL. So you're going to zigzag these edges just so that they don't fray. So you put it right in the centre, like that. No backs and forwards, and just zigzag. Go.
Okay, Teresa's had to go to the toilet, which she can't usually do when she's doing this on her own. So I'm pressing this seam to the back.
That's what we've got so far, and now we're going to do the same on the other side. We were going to put the Go Faster stripe on, but boring old Shaz said that she doesn't want it. So we'll have to do a Go Faster stripe another time. But if I had...
I don't need to go faster.
If I had, I would have bonded it first with Bonder Web and then stitched it.
Okay, that's good to know.
But not this time. The quickest way to finish off this waist is to use bias binding. So I'm going to show you how to put this bias binding on. Bias binding is a strip of ribbon that is cut on the cross, and they already do this conveniently placed little hem here. You see, it's really kind of them. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to open it out, I'm going to lay it on the fabric, or rather Shaz's. You're going to lay it off the fabric with a bit coming off, and you're going to stitch in the well of that crease line, going all the way around, and it will bend round with you because it's cut on the stretch cross.
Okay.
So I'm just going to start it off for you. And
so are you sewing actually in the well of that crease?
Yes.
And if you do sort of go a bit wobbly, is it better to go inside the well or outside the well of the crease?
Outside, as in towards the waist.
Okay.
Right, Shaz, it's your turn. Now you have to remember the way in which we have pressed our seams, you have to stick to that.
So you've got to catch them as they are pressed.
Yeah, so that's really important. Do you think you're all right doing that?
Yeah.
And if you've got a big notch like that, you might need to come down a little bit from that notch. All right, shall I get you to do that then?
Yeah.
So we've done that. So now what we just need to snip in where you get a tiny little curve going on at the front so that it lays flat. If you snip into it, then it lays a lot better. So I'm just doing it all the way along.
That's a top dressmaking tip, isn't it?
Is it? Seems obvious to me. And then what happens is this bias binding gets pressed over like that. But because it's on the cross,
how lovely.
Yeah, it folds over really nicely. So we're going to press it now with the iron. Now this could have been the right side and you could have had it as a detail, but I haven't done it like that. So this is the right side, just with a nicely finished off edge, but we do need to stitch it down. So we're going to stitch it down now, but we're going to stitch it from the top so that nothing moves. Is that all right, Shaz? Now,
so you're stitching it from this side, aren't
you? Now you could use a very thin piece of Bonder Web and glue it down before you sew it, but we'll be fine because it's laying flat like paper, isn't it? So we're going to sew from the top side, and when you starting is very important, because if it wasn't aligned properly when we start, then it would all bunch up all the way along. Okay, so I'll start you off. So see how I'm really keeping everything flat, and with this finger, can you see where it is? You can sort of just about
feel it, can't you?
You can feel it. So better not to go too close to the edge, just in case you lose it. So you can feel it, can't you, Shay?
I can feel it.
Yeah. Be equidistant from the edge though, because you are actually going in.
Am I?
Yeah. So look, we've gone off a little bit in places, but it's still really neat. Look at the other side. And now I'm going to show you how to put a centered zip in a skirt. Because my zip's too long, Shaz is just doing this little stitch. Look, show them, Shaz. About 7 inches down, which is where I need it to go. So she's going to stitch over and over and over. And what that does is, it means I can cut it here, knowing that the zip pull will never go beyond there. Thanks a lot, Shaz. You did a beautiful job there. So now it's safe for me to go woo and chop the zip. So I've just made it, I've just shortened a long zip into a short zip. Does that make sense? So what we need to do, we need to put the fabric right sides together. Okay, line it up right sides together and line up our notch, which signifies where we want the zip to go to. It can go a bit longer if we want. Now, this is important. We have to line up, in this particular skirt, the end of the zip with the end of the skirt, and then see how long it's going to be, which is absolutely perfect. First of all, just using a regular sewing stitch, I'm going to sew from the notch, go backwards and forwards and sew all the way down, except I'm not going to do it, you're going to do it. So stay equidistant from the edge, brilliant. Okay, Shaz, sorry. We should have zigzagged the edges before we did that, but it's all right, we can do it now. So shall I do that for you?
Yeah.
Right, so for the opening, we have to do something called a basting stitch, which is like a stay stitch. It's just there to hold something in place. So you use your biggest stitch on your sewing machine and you're going to sew from there without any backwards and forwards, and maybe even leave a gap, and come all the way up. But don't go backwards and forwards because we're going to have to take it undone afterwards. So you know how I always tell you to cut off these threads? I want you to leave them because they'll come in handy when we need to undo it afterwards. Now the next thing we need to do is we've got to press it all open now. So if you can just go and quickly press it open, Shaz, that'd be great. And what we do is, this is very important, line up that zipper pull with the top of the skirt, okay? And then we just lay that down on top. Now we want to hold it in place and we don't want any pins. So I did think I had some thinner masking tape, but I've only got this thick stuff. So I'm just going to cut it a bit thin because you can stitch through masking tape, it's fine. And then you can just pull it off afterwards. So I'm just going to cut some thinner strips of masking tape and put it across my zip with a view to pulling it off afterwards. So I think I'm going to put one there because it has to be lined up properly.
This looks interesting.
It looks like an operation. It does. That's funny. Now, when we do this, I do want to tuck in these bits, which I think I'm just going to do manually when we sew. So on my mini JL, I've got to turn it to E, and that's as near as I can get to the left-hand side. I'm going to tuck in one of these corner bit, one of the ends of the zips, tuck them in so that they're ready to sew. And I'm going to get it all underneath.
Oh wow.
The sewing machine.
I've never done a zip like this.
Okay, and then we're going to go backwards and forwards to close off the seam. And then we're just going to be as close as we can to that middle. Now when I get there, I'm going to pivot the needle, lift up the foot, spin it around. Now you can see this would have been so much easier if we didn't have all the bulk of the fabric. Now as we go over there, I'm turning the wheel. Can you show the wheel? So I'm just turning that wheel to take me over because I don't want to take any risks on damaging my needle. And then when I think I'm in the right position, I lift the foot, turn it around again, and I just come up on the other side. So let's try that. And then when I come up, see this little bit of zip? I want to tuck that in. I'm going to come all the way up, keep going, making sure I'm capturing everything. Go backwards, struggling a bit, and forwards. And then let's see what we've got.
Wow, that's like magic.
Well, sewing is magic. I really
when you know how.
Well, it is a bit, really. It's all about tricks. It's all about the tricks. So now look, we've got a lovely zip in there, but we can't open up the zip, can we? We can't open up the zip because we've got that seam stitched up. So we've got to undo that seam, and we'll do that with an unpicker. But first we've got to take off all this masking tape. I'm just using the unpicker, which is this thing here, to unpick it so that Shaz can try it on. Sharon's trying it on now. Do you want to see it on her? It looks really, really amazing. Look at that. Wow. Oh, excellent pose. You've got to do my pose. Do that. Turn around, show them your zip.
The zip.
Look how perfect that zip is. Come closer. Back, 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 back. So look how perfect her zip is. We can see it a little bit, but that's okay. But how lovely is that? And turn round. Now, Shaz said, can we see the top? Shaz said that she would like it a bit longer. So I think we're going to finish it off another time with a nice kind of border of bias binding. But what did you think of that, Shaz?
Amazing.
Amazing. Thanks a lot for watching Stitchless TV, and I really want to see more of your pictures on my Facebook page, Stitchless Tree. Thanks a lot. Bye. Say bye, Shaz.
Bye.
Bye.